Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. I'm your host, Kevin, and this is Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 6/17/2026. And I appreciate everyone that cruises on through. I truly do. And I'm very grateful for those of you that cruise in on the live. And for those of you that do, just take a moment and say hi. What happened to my chat people? There you are, right there. Let's Chris this. And hey, Kyle. Lyle, sorry. Lyle, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here. And Jag, I hope all is well with you. I know I made an announcement last week. I was going to throw some books. I did get some stuff together. It's just been life. So hopefully in the next couple of days, a day or two, I'll throw out. If not, I'm going to take some books back to the shop. Just saying. But let's talk about the ones that I'm getting and I'm desiring to read. Starting off, let's talk about some books coming out from Marvel. Marvel is going to first start off with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31. This is a countdown to the Legacy issue number 1000. 1000, what is that going to be next 2 months? No, within. Yeah. Cool thing is as opposed to just throwing fillers out there, there's rather significant meat coming out. We're getting some back history on a rather significant character. Not going to go ahead and spoil that. Did get the 1 in 25. I like the reflection. That's pretty badass. Hopefully, I'll cast a little foreshadowing on what to come. And yeah, I am not only looking forward to reading that, but I think I'm at issue 27. Got a lot of catching up to do. There's a lot of books back there to read. Actually, that's the box I did start compiling of all the books I'm getting rid of. No, never mind. I have like 4 months of books I got to go through. I am really far behind. Amazing Spider-Man and a couple other titles I have been somewhat keeping up on. That stated, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31 is coming out tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to reading that book once I read the 4 before. Moving out from Amazing Spider-Man, let's cruise over and talk about Sorcerer Supreme issue number 7. I'm entrenched in the storyline for the fact that how it ended up starting a little over a year ago when we got the whole blood hunt thing. Outside of what we end up seeing happening with, God, if you really think about it, a lot of things actually transpired to that. This is just actually one aspect that kind of splintered off, which is, well, Stephen Strange losing his title of Sorcerer Supreme. Long story. That's what I'm saying. I'm so like entrenched in not only this storyline, but where it all started, where and how much over a year that I've been reading this storyline. Also said that if he would have just sat on the sidelines, he wouldn't be going through all this shit, meaning Stephen Strange. But here he is fighting and pretty much with Asgardian magic, with Angela, separate battles, while over on the Sorcerer Supreme side, Doctor Strange, title side, we got Wanda and we got Scarlet Witch going in and doing their own battles. I can't wait for the two heads to end up meeting. These storylines end up going. But that's what I'm saying. I've been reading this for over a year, so if you're not already reading this storyline, there's a lot. It is thick. Don't jump in unless you're ready to commit. Just saying. Sorcerer Supreme issue number 7 is not only been a fun read, but there's been so much going on with it that it's just it's story on itself. Moving on from that, let's talk about Spider-Man Long Way Home issue number 1. I really thought this was only a 2-issue miniseries. Excuse me. It's turned out to be a 5-issue, but it's skipping, I guess. I tried to order issue number 3. However, I pre-order issue number 1 and 2. And this is outside of the continuity of Marvel. So the cool thing about I like stories like this, like What If, type stories is it doesn't bound the writer to go ahead and maintain the continuity storylines, which kind of restricts and constricts the ability of the creativity of that writer. No, don't get me wrong. I understand. And I'm right there with everyone that wants to go ahead and maintain continuity. So when stories make their proclamation that they're outside of it, it's kind of cool to see what they do with it. Spider-Man Long Way Home, issue number 1. Yeah, looking forward to reading that one. Let's move out from Marvel. Let's cruise over to Oni Press. Oni Press. Man, I like that titles. Started off with Dead Teenagers, issue number 4. Yeah, it was kind of hard between this and two others that I'm going to talk about for my Blue Light special. And it still got beat up by a whole different title at the end. Dead Teenagers, issue number 4. This wasn't something I was really totally looking to jump in and commit to as far as it's not ongoing, but miniseries was concerned. I did want to dabble and get in issue number 1 and see what it was like. If I recall, I think issue number 1 was my Blue Light special. Can't remember. It's not stated. Yeah, I want to say it was. I'm a sucker for when it comes to Groundhog's Day style storylines, and when you get one combining with a teenagey, angsty prom scenario storyline, well, that just sounds absurd and fun. That's what Dead Teenagers has been. Both absurd, fun, and yeah, I'm definitely all in. It's so fun. It's a nice break away from some of the other storylines and maintain continuity. Just saying. When it comes to the indies, I love them all. Storyline is basically teenagers that are stuck in this endless loop till they figure out how to get the hell out. Groundhog's Day style. They've yet to do that. At my count, I think I lost that. They're over 5,000 days into this. That would have drove me nuts. I don't know how they're handling it, but I'm a lot. Like I said, I'm going for the ride. Dead Teenagers issue number 4. That one I highly recommend. And if you haven't already jumped in, you can probably find them at the store. If not, wait for the trade. Moving on from that, let's talk about Murder Jones issue number 4. Excuse me again. I need to take a drink. Murder Jones issue number 4. You have to read 3. What I love about Murder Jones is when I was watching it on the show, I wasn't able to get all the subtle aspects that they were pointing to, but they're obvious inside the comics. They point out, oh, this person's blushing or this is the reaction. It says it right there. Whereas in the cartoon, you had to decipher that. Some aspects this has not come across to me. I don't know if it's a genre or generational thing, but I was still really intrigued and enticed to want to go ahead and jump in the storyline. So when it came out as a comic, I'm all in. I got the poster right there. Don't believe me? Dun, 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 dun. Where's your poster? Everything's collapsing around me. And yeah, my audio just went. And so when it came out to be a comic, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely in for that type of form of content. It is a form in which that I not only appreciate comics, but I think it comes across better for me, and that it does. Looking forward to actually seeing the cartoon all over again. Murder Jones is basically a dystopian robot storyline, and much like people, just trying to find their way and trying to find their meaning, even when their meaning is not what they initially thought it was, and it turns out to be somewhat more. Well, that tends to be something you have to end up grappling with, and that's kind of what Murder Jones is. Real fun, really cool, and it's hard to really get from me as a storyline when it was coming across as a animated content. Comics, I'm all in. Really digging Murder Jones. Issue number 3 is the one I've yet to read. It's my probably right after this. Oh, actually, after my most anticipated. But issue number 4 is coming out on 6/17/2026. Let's move out from Oni Press and cruise over to Image Comics. Image is going to go ahead and start off with If Destruction Be Our Lot. This is another one of those dystopian robotic storylines, also searching for its own meaning, breaking off of what it was initial programming was. Much like Murder Drones, kind of similar storylines, but branching off and taking off considerably different directions. But both of them have major introspection when it comes to not only self, but really looking at the idea of what it is to be an individual human and what it means to not only be us, but what it means for our lineage. Our what is our legacy? You know what I mean? Is it for things that live after us that are not us at all, synthetic and robotic? Issue number one really took me back. This was one of those that was almost my most anticipated read. Both this and Odin came as a flip book. I have a few of them actually as an ash can. And both of them I was just really just taken back on how it was presented and some of the things I was actually questioning or presenting. If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue number 2 coming out on 6/17 is what I believe it to be, which is issue number 1 blew my mind. This, I guess, would be referred to as a maxi series. I think it's 9 issues long. Is going to be an interesting journey. I just hope I can handle it. Moving out from If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue number 2, which I highly recommend. Let's cruise over to G.I. Joe, issue number 23. Now, this is something interesting to me because now we are getting those crossovers that I was talking about before. And as we saw in Mask, with the surprise introduction of both Mask Origins and, moreover, ROM, it's my belief and speculation that we end up seeing from last year's free comic book day with the worst bot ever with the pencil bot. These are all actual pointing to the direction of possibly, don't quote me, we might get Micronauts. Is that possible? G.I. Joe issue number 23 is not only a G.I. Joe storyline, but basically it's a major crossover now in the Energon universe. Yeah, I have to admit I'm a little behind, but I'm digging on where all this is pointing to. It's exactly what I was talking about, where essentially they're all storylines that are independent on one another. They're all crossing over on one another, and this universe is just getting bigger. G.I. Joe issue number 23. Can't wait to read. Let's move on from that and let's talk about what I was just mentioning. Odin issue number 2. Odin issue number 1 really was it's hard for me to get into an era style storyline unless it's really well written. I was reading The House of Lothar, and that's another era style writing, and it's in my opinion magnificent. So when Odin, when I first saw the Ashcan, was presented to me and I was reading this, I was definitely brought in not only to the storyline, but how well the era is written, how you are immersed into the storyline in the era of the storyline. What we're getting here is a kid trying to struggling to fit in the Nazi era and full of Nazis, and they're all like playing with the occult in the wrong way. And what we're getting towards leading out from that is Roberto's questioning how can he fit in, even to the point of question changing his own name to Robert or something. What we're getting here is more of not only an individual doing whatever it takes to go ahead and fit into a societal that is not necessarily desiring him, but is moreover just accepting him for who he is because of the time and era that he's in. Nazi Germany was pretty probably hellish, and I wouldn't even want to consider it. But we're also getting playing with the occult, and now we're getting a lot of questioning of not only place, but of acceptance, religion, and possibly what we're going to get is, I don't even want to go there. I'm looking forward to it. This is, again, I've been grappling with what was going to be my most anticipated. This was almost it until I end up picking up the other thing because, well, you'll know in a moment. Moving out from Odin issue number 2, I highly recommend this maxi series. I believe it's a Tynion read. It's definitely out of the Tynion Little Onion what should I say? What do they call that? Box of people. I'm stable of talented writers and artists. But yeah, it should be an interesting read if you're into the occult and if you're into a 1940s era storyline. Odin issue number 2 coming out on 6/17/2026. Let's move on from that and talk about the last Image storybook, which is The $1 Trillion Kid. This is something I've been really interested to see how Jeff Johns, because he's really been pushing this, is going to expand his Ghost Machine universe. This is one that he's doing it with. He's introducing a bunch of characters, and a couple of which that connect to the already immediate and main storyline aspects of the Ghost Machine universe. How they connect, where they connect, and what these characters are and who they are, I have no idea. But it does start here with the $1 Trillion Kid. From my understanding, this is a story of a kid that really can't buy what he's looking for, which many of us really can't buy. Looking for adventure. He's looking for something beyond him, something that money just can't buy, which is, being able to do the right thing, be a moral person, live and abide by ethics. This kid just wants to be on wondrous adventures and all for the right reasons. And it just seems like an interesting storyline. I like Jeff's writing. He is a very I guess they would refer to that writing as utopian, the opposite, right? And I like that. A writing with a hope or with always this reach of always doing the right thing, and with a residual effect of people feeling good or understanding that there's something beyond them, and not if we were all bad, we wouldn't be the amount of people that we are today, or the people that help today, or or how we are today scientifically, or whatever. My point being is the $1 Trillion Kid, in my opinion, is kind of that storyline that has a small reflection upon that, which is, hey, we're all trying to do the right thing, trying to be the right person, even if we're holding on to $1 trillion. Some people can, I guess. Let's look. Let's find out. $1 Trillion Kid coming out 6/17/2026. Let's move out from that and let's talk about the last title, and let's talk about the last publisher. Let's cruise over to Dark Horse Comics. And with Dark Horse, we only have one title, and that is our Blue Light Special. This week's Blue Light Special is Concrete, issue number 1 of 5. Just realized I didn't even talk about one of my books. Yeah. Well. Which I'm not familiar with this title whatsoever. I don't know if you guys are. Concrete, I do know, is an older title. I want to say back from the 90s. I know nothing of this. I just recall seeing it throughout the years. I do remember friends of mine always talking about this title with passion. This hasn't been written, from my understanding, in over a decade, maybe 2. I think 2, at least 15 years. And Paul Chadwick, I don't know how active he is. I don't recall reading anything of his into mine right now. I just, what it was is I was walking through picking up my stuff, and I said, hey, can I get one of those? He's like, yeah. He got busy, meaning the guy at the store. And I didn't actually go flipping through it. I had some things I had to do. But it really caught my eye, and it caught my interest, and it caught a lot of nostalgia that I remember of a lot of friends of mine who were reading it and really were extremely passionate about the storyline. Like Aardvark and Cerebus and all these other, what is it, like for me, Usagi Jimbo and a few of these other indie storylines. I knew a lot of people that were just as passionate with that storyline, and I'm just massively curious what it's all about. So, hey, Concrete, issue number 1 coming out on 6/17/2026. For those of you that cruise on the live, I appreciate you greatly. For those of you who cruise on the rewind, thank you very much. If you stay to the end, might want to consider like, maybe even subscribe. Appreciate it. Hey, and that's it for me. Entropy. You guys take care. Bye.